Shira Feuer. She's a CMO of Trinny London. Trinny London is a digital-first beauty brand that's really making incredible waves. So we're very lucky to have her. It's now over to you.
Hello, hi, I'm Shira Feuer, and I'm CMO at Trinny London. Trinny London is the beauty brand founded by Trinny Woodall a few years ago. You might remember her from Trinny and Susanna. And she founded this business that has been experiencing really crazy growth over the last few years. We grew about 300% last year alone. So today I'm going to be talking about a few of the strategies that have worked for us with our growth, and hopefully they can help you a bit as well. But before I start, I think it's really important to mention that everything I'm talking about really depends on the stage of where you're at with your growth. So are you super early finding product market fit? Are you starting to scale? Are you in hypergrowth like we are at the moment? Or are you an established brand launching a DTC offering? So it really does obviously vary a lot, but I'm going to try and speak about 10 different strategies that have worked for us in the stage that we're at right now. So to start, we need to start with performance marketing because we're a scale up, and this is something we all have to do. But for me, it's about scaling the right performance marketing that is based on your objectives, your audience, your product, your category. In my experience, usually with D2C brands, you skew more heavily towards Facebook, as in Facebook or Instagram for paid, or Google channels, as in Google, YouTube, and so on. For us, we're definitely heavier on the Facebook side because we're more of a push brand than a pull brand, but we do definitely use both. But for us, it's been figuring out where to optimize in terms of what's going to work best for our audience. Similarly, we've been able to use TV, DRTV, really well for our performance marketing in the UK and in other markets as well. Email is really, really critical for us. It's essentially free and is a huge growth channel for us. We send emails every single day and works well. And when we don't send an email, we see the impact of not doing it. So that's a really important one. Earned media is really critical for performance too. So generally speaking, I don't think of PR as a DR last click kind of channel, but if you can get the right story placed in the right title for your audience, it can work really well, and you can see the immediate effect. Same thing with optimizing reviews offsite. For us, if you're a D2C digital brand, this is absolutely critical. And then, of course, there's the work that you do on-site too. So for us, whether that's sampling, whether that's optimizing the site, this example is optimizing the bag and getting the increased AOV at the end. All of this, for me, falls within performance marketing. So lots of different things that you can do for performance depending on your audience. But regardless of what you do, I think it's really important to diversify channels as early as you can so that you don't become dependent on one. And when we see what's going on right now with Facebook and Apple and privacy and all of that, this is a very important reminder of how important it is to do this. So lots of ways to measure this. Again, really depends on what your objectives are. But going back to the beginning, you need to choose what you're doing based on your objectives, your audience, your product, and your category, and not trying to do everything because they're all available to you, but figure out what works for you. The next one for us is really, really important, which is creating content to build your brand that's not necessarily just about your products. And this is a huge, huge part of what my team does at Trinny London. So performance marketing will eventually plateau, and it's really important to start building brand from the beginning so that you can deal with that when that happens and not think about retrofitting it right at the end. In my opinion, great brands are consistent, recognizable, and have a strong point of view. So we use content to do this. And I am not by any means saying that your content shouldn't have your products in it. Quite the opposite. We do a lot of this, and it's really, really powerful. What I'm saying is it doesn't have to be just about your products. So for example, Trinny, our founder, her background is in fashion, and so my team, very big part of my team is video production, and they create shows like Closet Confessions, which is a show we publish every week purely about fashion. We also create content like this where Trinny just goes shopping and we film it, and it is hugely successful. No mentions of our product. It's not featured other than the fact that she's wearing it on her face. No mention at all, but what we do here is we're building audience from this. Similarly, we do other content, whether it's skincare, fitness. The last one on the end there is a content stream we call the elevator pitch, where Trinny is speaking to female founders and giving them an opportunity to promote their business on her platform. And since our brand is all about giving women the tools they need to be their best, it really fits within our brand. For us, it's about creating impactful entertainment. And this is where it gets the most interesting for me, because then we can start to merge the two sides together a little bit. So, for example, we have a stream called Friday Twinning, which features Trinny, and that's Chloe, who's a video production manager in my team. And they will style the same look differently. And it is, while it is fashion focused and it started that way, the beginning of these videos have them doing their makeup, talking about the makeup they're wearing, mentioning specific products. So it's a way to weave that together. Similarly with the Takeover Show, which is a digital, a YouTube series that's a makeover show, our makeup features heavily there. And then finally, the last one's called Rethink Your Routine, which is beauty specific. So obviously our makeup is a big part of that. So the point is that we're building up our audience so then we can soft sell our products within this entertaining content. And a lot of startups talk about building a moat, which is what's your line of defense to retain your competitive advantage. To me, our content is our moat. So lots of different ways to measure this that are brand heavy. But the main question that I ask is it remarkable? As in, would you remark on it? Does it get your attention? So much brand content, I think, isn't particularly remarkable. So we work really, really hard to make it remarkable for us. The next one is about nurturing a genuine community, and that's not a community, that's an actual community, and I think there's a very big distinction. So for me, I truly believe your Instagram followers are not a community, and this is a term I think that is misused a lot because people describe audience as community, but they're not the same thing. Community isn't a one-to-many conversation, it is a many-to-many conversation. So if you think about what actual real-life communities are, it might be people bonding because they support the same football team, or they go to the same church, or they just really like the same kind of movies, but they talk to each other. And that is something that I think there isn't enough of coming from brands. For us, this is the Trinny Tribe. So the Trinny Tribe was started not by us, but by fans of the brand and of Trinny. It's a series of Facebook groups around the world. There's about 35, I think, and we've got tens of thousands of people in there, primarily women, who bond over their love for the brand and for Trinny herself. And I always describe it as the nicest place on the internet, because there's a lot of content like this. So there's two here from our global tribe, one in the middle from our Canadian tribe. That's our tribe ambassador, Jane. She's my favorite person. And they share a lot of content that looks like this. And if you look at the number of comments, that's where it becomes really special, because people are supporting each other in a way that you don't see in other places. And it's quite heartwarming. It's really nice. And frankly, it's a marketer's dream, because they are selling the products better than I ever possibly could. So in terms of measurement, it's all around community engagement and lifetime value. But the tribe are just a group of people who, they are our core advocates. We couldn't thank them enough for everything that they do. And so this is about leveraging community to harness the power of customer advocacy. And taking that to the next step, it's about building brand through special moments that are hard to scale. So moments create experiences, and experiences create loyalty. And this can be small things or big things. So this is an example here to just show how our community team, they respond to every single comment across all of our many social channels. So we cover both Trinny's personal channels and the brand channels. And every single one gets a response. And it might not always be a full comment. It might be a like or a yellow heart. But we think it's really important to acknowledge everybody that engages with us, whether what they're saying is good or bad. If they have a customer service issue, they might comment on here too. But making sure that everyone is heard is really important. We also do various events, and Trinny is one person and her time doesn't scale, so we have to be smart about how we do these. Obviously lately not so much, but we will be bringing them back. And they're a really good way to bring a relatively small group of people together, but again, it's creating that bond through something that doesn't scale. This is a very special story to us. So this is a post in the tribe from a woman named Sharon. Sharon has terminal cancer, and she posted this about that and about how much she loves the brand. This was brought to our attention by other members of the tribe, and so we sent Sharon some products and thanked her for being so involved in the brand. And she wrote us a letter, as in the team, ourselves, not this one. She wrote us a letter to the company. And it was so moving, we all shared it, and we were like, we have to do more with her. So we started doing more with her, and we started creating content with her and telling her story, because for us, given that the brand is all about uplifting women, she is an incredible human being, and we wanted to have the opportunity to work with her more. Eventually, that led to us launching a product this year on International Women's Day called Sharon, where the proceeds go to Breast Cancer Now, which is a charity that she chose. And what we also did, Sharon is an incredible writer, truly an incredible writer. And so she wrote, all these little yellow stickers came with the product, they come with the product Sharon. And I think there's 5 or 10 quotes that she wrote that, so all of these, every moment I choose joy, for example, these are stickers that came with the product. So they really get the story to come through, and it's not, there's just something much warmer to it. And this to us is a wonderful example of a moment that doesn't scale, but says so much about our brand. Another one here that happened more recently, this was Lisa. She also was sharing her diagnosis of cancer in the tribe. And we sent her some products. The products are called Strength, Hope, and of course we sent her Sharon. And it was nice. But then what was interesting when I was actually putting this presentation together is I discovered this, which was the conversation off the back of these posts. Sharon responded to Lisa. You can see them talking to each other. And when you see this, it's like, you don't get this in your Instagram comments. This is a community. This is like a real thing. And if you can figure out how to galvanize your audience and figure out what they're passionate about and how they can support each other in this way, it's really priceless. It's not all sad stuff either. This was an example from Ursula in the tribe. And like I said, not all the posts in there are about the brand. They're about lots of different things. So she was posting how she's been a mature student. She was trying to figure out what to wear for her graduation. So lots of people suggesting what she should wear. And so we sent her some products for her to wear at her graduation. Something, it's just small, but we like to do this a lot. We love a handwritten note. It doesn't scale, but it adds up over time. And I believe that the best brand marketing relates to identity. And I think that seeing all of these little things, for me as a consumer, makes me want to identify with this brand because I think it's doing something powerful. So there are a lot of ways you can measure this activity, but the truth is that we don't really measure it because we just believe in it and we think it's really important to our brand and we want to do more and more of it. So the next one is about embracing UGC without being cheesy. I never in a million years thought I'd be standing here promoting UGC. I've always found it really cringy in most of the companies that I've worked in. But for us, the truth is we get incredible UGC all the time that's unsolicited. And when you have the opportunity, find a hook. So this is what we've done here. This is called Stacks on Tour. Again, not started by us, but something that the community, or the audience rather, has started. You can see that one in the middle, that one's from me. And it's something that we can then ask for without it feeling like gross. So we can say, share your stacks on tour. I was gonna take one from the stage, but not enough time, so I'll do one later. So we love stacks on tour, and it's something that's so great for us as a brand. And we celebrate it. So every year, and by every year, I mean we've only done it twice, but it will be every year, we do the annual Trinny Awards, and we do this during award season with like the Oscars and the BAFTAs and everything else. And this is an award ceremony that celebrates all of the different UGC that we get. So categories are like tallest stack, or best smoky eye, or whatever, but it's a way for us to, we get nominees, and we have winners, and there's a trophy. And it's just a really nice, fun piece of content that really works with our whole brand. So measurement examples all around UGC volume and reach, but really thinking about the credibility that we get through word of mouth. So speaking of that, get the most out of PR and influencers to drive impact. PR is a huge, huge part of our business. So it might be product placement, it might be more fun. So I actually give my editorial team targets to try and get the content that we publish on our own channels to get press coverage. Of course, we have the luxury of having Trinny, so it makes it a little bit easier for us. but it doesn't mean it's impossible for everybody else to do. I think it's thinking about what you're creating and the attention that it's going to get. And then we also get coverage like this, which for us is really important because Trinny came from a very different background. And in order for us to position the brand as a serious beauty brand, this kind of press helps us too. For influencers, we do tons and tons of influencer work like this, usually where we're gifting product to people and they're posting about it. We've done hardly anything in terms of paid influencer partnerships. We've just started a little bit. So the one in the middle, that's a makeup artist named Hung Van Gogh. He's in New York. He's very big, very credible guy. So we've just started to play with that a little bit. We also, something I love to do, we've got the example of the conversation between Trinny and Deborah Messing over there. And Deborah Messing is not somebody who, if I went to her and said, can you post some product placement on your channels, she wouldn't do it. However, finding the opportunities to find somebody who's passionate about the brand and would be willing to have a conversation like that can be a lot easier and very engaging content at the same time. So we try and do as much of that as we can. And again, the measurement here is all around brand tracking, essentially. But what's key is remember why you're doing things. If you are just doing PR and influencer work for SEO or for affiliate purposes, it's probably not going to be very good. And so understanding, and there's not that there isn't a place for that, of course there is, but if you're trying to use PR and influencers to create awareness and credibility for your brand, then that needs to be thought about in terms of your execution. Number 7 is scaling internationally and thinking about the right places to start. So we are in, I think we ship to about 157 countries now, and that has been mostly in English and mostly a relatively global strategy. But now as we're growing, we're starting to be more specific. So we launched our first version of our website in local language, which was German, and then with that comes content. So this is one of our makeup artists doing a makeup tutorial in German. This is an example of an ad using German PR in Germany. This is one from the Netherlands, which is interesting because everything we do in the Netherlands generally is in English because their English proficiency is very high. However, influencer activity enables us to do a little bit in local language too, so we get the combination. So essentially, everything with measurement for us is core metrics, but broken down by market. Number 8 is cross-sell everything, and I'm not just talking about your products, I'm talking about your marketing. So this is stolen from my previous employer, the Walt Disney Company, and I had been working at Disney for a year when I saw this. This was created in 1957 by Walt Disney, and I was astounded because this thing that he created in the 50s was exactly how Disney works today, or at least when I was there a few years ago anyway. Pretty sure it still works that way. But the point is they've created this massive brand ecosystem where they can cross-sell everything. And so they are much less dependent on external sources. So for me, I'm always thinking about how can we create that brand ecosystem to cross-promote everything we do. Examples of this include pushing our influencer activity in our email, promoting a YouTube series on Trinny's personal channels, pushing a launch in the tribe, or promoting UGC across our own channels as well. And in terms of measurement, it's really looking at traffic views and revenue by source. So all of this is so we can build a 360-degree brand that's very holistic and looks at the big picture. Number 9, lead with data for everything is like obvious, and I did question whether or not I should put it in here, but I have a point, which is that analysis and insights are not exclusive to traditionally analytical disciplines. So this is Brandon. He is a video editor in my team. And when I challenged the whole team to share more insights and analysis from their different disciplines, he created a weekly internal content stream called Franalytics, which stands for Friday Analytics because he publishes it on a Friday. And it is genuinely laugh out loud funny, and I look forward to it every week. And it's amazing because it shares data and analysis in a way that the video editors can relate to. Similarly, after this happened, our editorial team, that's Lydia, they launched Editorialytics, and we love a little bit of healthy competition in our team as well. And then finally, we've got the design team that launched the Design Diaries. And I think the point is that they're all getting involved and all understanding that they can look at whatever they do and optimize it regardless of if they're creatives or not. And then finally, building the right marketing team based on your specific needs. I took this picture in December from an event that we did. This was the team in December. Funnily enough, the 3 people you saw just before, none of them are on here because none of them works with us yet, because our team has doubled in size since December. But the main point for me is the need to evolve as we grow. If you are a high growth scale up, you grow fast and your needs change quickly. So not being afraid to change the structure of what you're doing as you grow on a regular basis is really important. So these are the 10 strategies to write your D2C success story. And I hope that even if one was a little bit helpful for you today, it might spark some ideas to help your business too. Thank you very much.